Good morning, Village in Motion's on the air. I'm Clint Lambert. I'm the host today, and I wish you all a top of the day. We have with us this morning Franklin Funes, who is working with sales. And right at the moment, he's an interim in sales because we've had a loss just recently. Franklin, welcome. And what is this that we're losing from sales?
Well, we're losing our great leader, Eric Whitson. He's our director of sales. I'm excited to say that he's starting a new chapter in his life, going back to his hometown of Minnesota. So it is tough for our team. It's hard to see him go, but it's so exciting to see that he's starting this new chapter that he's very excited about.
That's great. And he will be leaving when?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yes, sir.
So he's truly leaving.
He is. It's become real now. So.
Okay. We didn't have enough snow for him here, huh?
No, he needed the snow.
He needs snow. All right. But you're taking over for the interim
basis. Yep.
And they have advertised for a new director?
That's right. Yeah, so we've started the process, and so our corporate leadership team has started the process to look for a new leader for Greenspring. We're really excited about some of the folks that they have in mind, so we're going to be starting that process very soon.
Great, very good. You guys work directly under corporate, or how's that set up?
Sure. So Greenspring is, the sales department is part of Greenspring.
Yep.
Greenspring it's their department. We don't work for corporate,
okay.
But our leadership, in terms of our director, would be working for the corporate office.
Okay. All right. I've always heard different things about it, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. What's going on in sales today? I mean, how are we doing with sales compared to a year ago or 5 years ago?
Yeah, no, we're really excited about even the first 2 months that have gone by. We've seen an increase in the amount of apartments that we have received, but we've also seen a very high demand, up about 30%.
Wow.
So we're really excited to see that folks are motivated to move even in the wintertime. Yeah. So even with the little snow that we've had come in. So we're really excited about what we have going on in the sales office right now.
How long is it taking from the time of somebody moving out, actually turning their keys in, and somebody picking up their keys?
From that standpoint, I would say it's taking about 90 days. About 90 days, yeah.
Okay.
So folks go through the process of releasing their apartment, and right now it's taking a new person coming in about 60 days to go through the entire process to get their keys.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So they're going through sales, and you guys are telling them all the great things about being here, and you're making sure that they have the finances to put forward into the entry fee, right?
Right. I mean, we want to put our best foot forward. So the process that we have in place really helps our incoming residents understand some of the things that they're going to be able to enjoy here at Greenspring, understanding how their finances are going to work here, understanding the agreement that they're signing. We want to make sure that they understand what they're signing, what rights that they have, and followed by the best part, the one that I like, which is giving them their keys.
Yes.
It's the most exciting piece. I like to see family members come in and be excited to be part of that process, and then finally seeing them move in.
Great. And with that move in, are you guys involved in, let's say somebody has a California closet put into their apartment. Does Greenspring revert that back to the original appearance, automatically pull it out, or do you leave it there until there's somebody that wants to purchase and move in?
Yeah, well, it's a case-by-case basis. You know, obviously, when residents put something custom into the unit, it's for the most part a personal preference. And so one of the things that we as a sales office try to do is take a look at a few things, which is, will whatever custom item that they put in, is it something that can stay? Is there any structural damage that may need for it to come out? And then the other piece is, will the new incoming person like it? You know, because as you know, we go through a priority list state. Right. So the person that we call in, if they like it, great. Then they would assume the responsibility of that if they ever decided to leave. But if they want it back to its original condition, then the resident who put it in would also be charged to take it out.
Okay. So people have that opportunity to keep things
Yes.
that were put in by someone else.
They would, yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. You mentioned the priority list. How many people do we have on it?
Yeah, we have a little over 1,200 priority list members,
wow,
which is really exciting. So on average, on a yearly basis, we add about 200 to 250 new priority list members a year, which is great.
What's the average stay on the priority list?
On the priority list, I can tell you that from the moment that they receive a document to the moment that they're coming to live at Greenspring, it's roughly about 5 years.
Oh, okay. And do you happen to know off the top of your head What's the longest period of time anybody's on the priority list?
I can tell you right now, we still have some folks who have been on the priority list since 1998.
Wow.
Yeah, and part of the reason is that they've expressed interest very early on. So as you know, even though we have a minimum age of 62, we have folks that join the priority list before that, so that when they are ready to make the move, they're in a good place on the priority list, especially for those who are interested in larger units.
So we do actually have people who join the priority list prior to age 62.
We do.
Is it a significant number, or only 2 or 3, or what?
Well, I tell you, I'm seeing probably more of an increase as of late. Just, as you can imagine, with the internet being as powerful as it is, people are really doing a great job of doing their research ahead of time, so that they have a plan in place. A lot of people like to have a 5-year plan, so they'll start early. So.
You must have met my wife.
Yeah.
With that, we have a grandson, 3.5-year-old grandson. Could we put him on the priority list?
Theoretically, yeah. Yeah, you could. And once he's ready, he'd probably get whatever he wants.
You think he'd be at the top of the list?
Pretty much.
When there is a apartment that's ready,
yeah.
How far do you have to come down the priority list before you typically find somebody that says, I want that one?
Well, it really depends on the unit. As you can imagine, when you have a larger unit, it tends to require a larger entrance deposit.
Right.
And so when you have a larger entrance deposit, there are a few expectations that these individuals have in terms of being able to make their unit the way they want to. And so when we talk about how far we go down the list, when it comes to the larger units, we tend not to have to go too far. Folks are pretty excited to get a larger unit, but when it comes to smaller ones, sometimes it's got to be in the right place, it's got to have a patio, or it's got to have a wooded view. So as you can imagine, when folks talk to us, they're saying, this is going to be a long-term move for me, and so I want to make sure I get it just right.
Yeah, because most people do not move after they move in, right?
Correct.
Although there's several of us who've done that.
Yeah, they have transferred.
Yeah.
There's a moment in time where you might say, you know what, I'm ready for a change. I want to transfer units. We've actually seen a couple of those this year.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not uncommon.
Interesting. Has it affected people's moving in or people's desire to move here now that you've gone to the different percentage back?
Sure, the 90% contract.
Right.
At first, I can tell you that our sales office thought there would be a dip, but to my surprise, the industry received it pretty well. Most organizations now have a 90% offer, if not different ones like 50%, or it declines after a certain amount of time. So the market pretty much expected it, understanding that by changing the agreement, it really added some stability to the community, in all communities. So it was well received.
Oh, okay. With the priority list, you then have a separate list after that, right? That of people who want to move in within the next year or next 6 months or something. Yeah.
So the priority list, we break it down. We want to make sure that we are connecting with the individuals who really are waiting for the phone call for the next apartment that becomes available. There's individuals who like the plan. They like to hear that they are going to be eligible to come to Green Spring, but aren't quite ready yet. So we have a standby priority list and a futures priority list. Now, obviously, this is all one list,
right?
But we break it down further so that Sheila, our sales counselor, has a better opportunity to really connect with those individuals that want to move now, and then the rest of the team is working on helping the others who aren't quite ready yet figure out why, and let's get you there. You mentioned Sheila being the sales counselor. Does she counsel everyone? I mean, does she see everyone who comes through? Yeah, everyone who comes through our doors, Sheila at one point will talk to them.
Wow.
And so as you can imagine, having 18 years here at Green Spring, right, she's had a hand with every single person that's moved in. So her expertise and her knowledge is just invaluable to us. And then there's other people in the office. Who else is in the office, and what do they do? Yeah, great. So we have Anna Greaves. She's our personal moving consultant. Okay. And so what we love about her role is that she goes into probably sometimes the most stressful environments, which is the house. Yes. Having lived there for 30, 40, 50 years, right, and helping them understand what needs to happen in order to make a move and make the transition as smoothly as possible. So she helps with every aspect of the house, from finding an agent to to finding movers, downsizers. So she plays a huge role.
Is that only for houses that in Virginia, or did she go into Maryland? Or
yeah, it's pretty much nationwide.
Oh.
So Anna has other resources from other communities. As you know, we have 19 communities,
right.
and so she'll lean on some of her partners. But yes, we want to make sure that if there's a resident moving, we have a resource for them.
Okay. And then who else is there?
So we have Rachel Gilbert, who is our event associate. So when you see us hosting events from time to time, she is the person who's putting it all together for us.
Good.
We have Maya Glab, another sales associate, who's actually working on a really strong program, especially as of late, the Experience Green Spring program, which is our priority members can spend a night here at Green Spring. And we're starting to see 1 or 2 a week. So she's doing a great job there. We have Lauren Askey, who is pretty much my counterpart. Once someone reserves an apartment home, we pretty much take over and see them through until they become a resident. We have Don Donnelly, who assists Sheila in doing appointments along with Lauren for folks to take a look around for the first time or potentially be looking at an apartment to reserve.
Okay.
That's the team.
So you've got 6 people?
We have 7 in total,
okay.
And we'll have our 8th with our director.
Okay. One of the things that I've noticed and several people have commented about is the fact that when someone moves in or moves out, the blankets go up in the elevators. They stay there for a heck of a long time. In fact, I got on an elevator this morning in Forest View that still had the blankets up. How long do they stay up?
Sure. Well, that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. From an education standpoint, what's interesting enough is a lot of folks associate the pads with sales, but actually there's a few departments that actually use it. There are sales, we use it for move-ins. Obviously we want to protect the investment that our residents have made in upgrading the elevators, but we also use it for our move-outs. So if there's a transition happening, we use the pads for that, and also we've been using the pads for the windows that we've been replacing in Town Center. And so that's probably why you're seeing most of the pads up there at this point, is for the protection of not only the windows but the elevator itself.
Okay. With your team and with prospective individuals coming in, and you do sales events, right? Mm-hmm. How often do you do one? Yeah,
so we on average host about 2 or 3 events a month. Wow. And all the events, for the most part, have a theme to them. So, for instance, this in March, we've had we're going to have 2 events that are part of a 3-part series. So we just had one on the 9th where we invited our priority list members to come learn more about downsizing. That seems to be the biggest thing that individuals want to learn about, is how do I start downsizing on my house. So we got a great response. Anna's pretty much getting ready to head out for the next month out to people's homes, and then on the 30th we have how to properly get your home ready for sale, finding the right agent, when is the right time to sell, and then finally we'll bring it all together with our Home Expo, which is April 20th, which is something I wanted to mention. It's our biggest event of the year.
Okay, April 20th.
April 20th. So that's where if you come by Village Square, you're going to notice a big crowd. We're expecting, on average, we have about 250 guests come in.
And those will be between the hours of?
That'll be between the hours of about, I would say you would start around 9:30 until about 2:30.
Okay. Folks, you heard it here. You heard it first. Be prepared for the sales event. And if you have a friend that wants to move in, get them to sales, right?
Absolutely. We'd love to have them.
Okay. Franklin, thank you so very much for coming this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's been very informative, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Folks, don't go away. We've got social work coming up. Stay tuned with us, okay?